Live from the top of the Toxin Raiders tower in the heart of Araxis, this is I Burn My CD, bringing you the latest Toxin audio news. Toxin has been enjoying a strong recruitment push as we've started to make ourselves known on the East Elita server. Despite the Enclave's attempt to push Vanu back to the Warp Gate, we've helped hold the line to ensure resource gains for the entire faction. We've also been enjoying the recent gains in cert points as we've tried different build-outs over the last few days. Now for the part you've been waiting for. We brought T-Ray, Senior Art Director for Planetside 2, in for an interview with Chapal, our commanding officer.
Well, T-Ray, I think we're going to get going here. It looks like we got some people recording. So I guess first of all, welcome. Thank you for being patient. And really appreciate you being here. I know you got busy days and got a lot of stuff going on. So anyway, welcome.
That's not a problem, man. You know, gotta be out in the community, find out what the people are saying, what the people want. You know, we got to continue to make sure that we listen to, you know, the needs of the many and see if we can get some of those requests in. I mean, this is what we do.
I've been gaming for a long time, about 10 years now, and have been in quite a few betas, been a part of some pretty large guilds / outfits. And what you guys are doing on the community level, whether it be customer service or folks like you and some of the other people that are reaching out, active on the forums, doing things like this, it's thoroughly impressive. And I really believe it's going to pay off for you guys in the long run. So thank you again from the community.
Well, let's hope so. You know, we want to make sure that everybody was included. And I know there's some people that, you know, continue to say, oh, it's not like the Planetside 1, but, you know, we're making a different game. And, you know, it's a different time. If we continue to make the same old games that we made 10 years ago, then we probably wouldn't be in business anymore. So we got to change with the times, just like, you know, players change with the times. You know, it's a different crop of players out there. And, you know, being an older person, you know, it's hard to even imagine that, hey, there's somebody else playing this other than me, you know. And we've been at this for a while, and we've seen things evolve over the years. So I really appreciate the guys like hanging in there and giving us the feedback. And we know that we're not going to please everybody, but we want to make sure that the majority of people are having fun.
You make a good point there. I mean, you guys, first of all, you've got to stay in business. You know, we want you guys to be successful. And you're right. You know, in any sort of industry, if you can make 95% of everybody happy, you're doing really well. But that 5% has always seemed to be the most vocal. But that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So. Well, hey, I got some basic questions here, and how this layout's going to kind of happen here is I've got some generic questions, kind of some of the same stuff that we asked Perfect Storm. We're just going to kind of compare your answers with hers. That might be interesting. And then we've got a couple of moderators here filling some questions from the guys that are joining us here on TeamSpeak, and I'll be able to see those as well. So we got a lot of guys, a lot of girls as well that really want to maybe kind of dive into your background a little bit and just, I mean, I want to know about, I mean, how'd you get into the gaming industry? How did you get into the art side of it? I mean, is that your inspiration, or did you start somewhere else and kind of gravitate towards there? So just tell us a little bit about that process and how you ended up where you are today.
Well, I mean, I started off, I'm an artist. I've been an artist for a long time. I started drawing and doodling when I was like 4 years old. And then, you know, I've always wanted to draw and always wanted to do and paint and stuff like that. And even in like high school, I pretty much took every class I possibly could in art, you know, just to try to keep my skills up. And then once I left high school, I went to school for animation. So, okay. You know, I took that, you know, basically traditional animation. At the time, there was no like, you know, 3D Studio Max or Maya, anything like that. And if it was like on the higher end, and you didn't have anything like that taught in school. So I learned traditional animation. I actually learned 3D animation on the job. And my first job was, you know, animating 2D sprites in this game called Blood and Magic, which was like a small scale RTS that was using the D&D license. So, you know, I did that for like 2 years, and then I moved on to this little game called Fallout. You might have heard of it.
Yeah, a little one.
Actually did all the death animations and a bunch of UI stuff and some stuff on the intro for Fallout, and obviously you know the Vault Boy, all of those Vault Boys from the original Fallout were pretty much mine. And then we took those and added on top of that and did some more on Fallout 2. In Fallout 2, I was lead artist on that product and did a lot of stuff on that: animation, UI stuff, effects, you know, all the death stuff, some character modeling. I did a little bit of everything on that project, and that was fun. And I moved on from Interplay to this small company where I worked on this game called Mage Lords that never came out. And I did that for about a year. And then I started working on the original Planetside in St. Louis. You know, it was kind of a no-brainer for me because I was, I'm originally from St. Louis. So,
Nice.
I could go back home and, hang out with the fam and, work on this cool game. And, obviously, from the get-go, it's like, okay, well, we're making this MMO first-person shooter. And it's like, all right, well, you can't really, at that time, you couldn't really explain to anybody what it was. And it was really hard to kind of like get your mind wrapped around it. But then once we got to the point where people could actually play it and understand it, it was still like that uphill struggle to try to get people to understand what it was that we were trying to make. Because I think the original Planetside was a little bit more MMO than it was first-person shooter.
Yeah,
and
that's
it
fair.
was too much of a hybrid of the two, not necessarily leaning to one side or the other. And, that I think that kind of threw people off. And but Planetside itself as an entity has endured and has never been duplicated. And, it went down in history as one of those classics that people should have played. And
Absolutely.
it's not necessarily because it wasn't popular because it wasn't a good game. It's an unknown quantity. And even I think even at the time, I think the company had a really hard time trying to figure out where it landed, so that people could grasp the idea of it. But the reviewers and everybody who played it and people who stuck with it, those people got it, and that's what made Planetside what it is today. Like that core group of people who played it then, when I run into people at different venues, like at PAX or like at E3, and the people that were reviewers, that were players then, are now reviewers now. People who actually review games for a living, and now these are, Planetside is one of those games that stuck with them in their mind as one of those great games in the past. So, just because it wasn't popular and didn't have this mass appeal didn't mean that we didn't stake a claim in history, in gaming history. So, I mean, that felt good. So from when I left Sony the first time, not too soon after the Aftershock expansion came out, I left and worked on Neverwinter Nights 2 up at Obsidian in Orange County.
Okay.
And then finished that game and then moved on to working on Duke Nukem Forever. Actually got that game to the point where it was shippable. And then the company shut down, and a couple guys stayed back from that team and actually finished the game off with the funding from Take-Two and Gearbox. And then I came back to SOE to help ship The Agency up in Seattle. And I worked on that for about 2.5 years before they canceled it. The game was shaping up pretty good, but it had been in production way too long, so totally understandable why they had to shut it down. But during that time, like during the last maybe 6-8 months of The Agency, I was basically flying back and forth from Seattle to San Diego to work on what was then titled Planetside Next. So we were trying to get it to the point where we could basically turn the original Planetside into a free-to-play type game.
When was that, T-Ray?
We pushed it a little too far, and kind of got the eyes and the brain of John Smedley thinking about, we can actually make this into something bigger. So we went back to the drawing board and started pushing it a little bit further, taking the technology that we made for Free Realms and Clone Wars and basically turned it into Forge Light, the engine that powers Planetside 2 and will power the rest of the games coming out of SOE. And, after The Agency shut down, I, grabbed a couple guys from that team, and we all came down to San Diego to try to get Planetside 2 out the door. And
so, T-Ray, when was all that?
It's been, it's been fun. It's been a great situation, man. We got a great group of people, hardworking group of people. It's probably the most dedicated group of guys that I've worked with, as far as like what they know and how they push the boundaries on certain things. Never settle for second best. Within the bounds of what we were trying to do. We got to try to put 2,000 people on the screen, but at the same time, that's not the only thing that we're striving for. We're trying to make the game look as good as it possibly can with 2,000 people on the screen.
It's gotta be
And
tough.
the program is the tech director, Ryan Elam. He knows that. I mean, that's first and foremost on his mind, is trying to make the game look great, at the same time perform well. I've been in situations where, the programming leads have been just like, yeah, we got to make it run fast. We need to make this run great. It's your responsibility to make sure it looks good. But they've given me every tool possible that anybody could ask for, and still continue to give us the tools and the ability to make this game look even better. I think if I were to try to pick a percentage of how good Planetside 2 could look and will continue to improve performance and the look and feel of it, I think we're probably about 80%. And the more that we can iterate on things, I think that the better the game is going to look, with different types of features that come along as far as like tech, on the tech side, the different types of features that we're going to be adding to Forge Light over time are going to, set Planetside 2 apart. And I think the industry is ready for something like Planetside 2 because, I can see other game companies start to form their first-person shooters, trying to get, subscription models and trying to get more persistence and, trying to get different servers where you keep all your stats and all this stuff. They're actually pushing toward what Planetside, the original Planetside, was. So, I mean, we've already been there, done that. So we're going to take that and move it far beyond what they can achieve. This is a game that just recently came out with an expansion claiming to be their biggest map yet, and it's like 1/16 of our map. And I'm not
they'll
really
go without being
impressed
said.
with that.
No.
Their statements that this is their biggest map. It's like, okay, well, I've seen that. I saw that 9-10 years ago. Now do something better than that. You're working on a 10-year-old idea. Now we're working on something that's going to be pushing the boundaries of what first-person shooters can be. And I think
that's exciting.
Once the world gets their hands on it, they're going to be expecting more from these other companies, because what we're producing is a AAA title that's free to play and that's more expansive than any other product out there. And you're not going to be able to get that anywhere else.
Hey, I appreciate that. I mean, golly, what an amazing history. I appreciate you sharing all that with us. And I know everybody here right now that'll be listening to the podcast are going to be really appreciative to get that backstory. So, hey, you alluded a little bit or to, the first Planetside maybe even being a little ahead of its time, maybe being kind of a niche game and not really being able to appeal to the masses. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you mentioned that it was more of an MMO, which has got a lot of great qualities, but didn't have maybe as much of a first-person shooter qualities as it needed to appeal to the masses. And I know the guys here in Toxin and a lot of people that we fight with, whether it be competitively in TWL or Cal, we enjoy the first-person shooter aspect. For you, what do you look for in a successful first-person shooter?
It's got to be something that's dynamic. It's got to be engaging. I used to play Modern Warfare. I mean, I used to play it all the time.
Sure.
Played it all the way up until, and I would actually play the single player game because the stories were good. And up until 3, and then when Black Ops came out, I was just like, okay, this is nothing different. This is nothing new under the sun. It's the same thing. And then Battlefield 3, of course, like I said, I play the single player first, and then I play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
I played single player Battlefield 3. It's just completely a waste of time. And I'm sorry to say that. Those guys at DICE are really, really smart guys, and they make a really nice game that appeals to millions of people. But as a single player game, which I'm sure it probably wasn't intended to be, it just was horrible. Horrible is the best thing I can say. But I mean, as a multiplayer game, there's a lot of people who play it. A lot of guys who play it here. I just didn't really get into it. I would much rather play Modern Warfare 3. But as far as like what I look for is, it's got to be competitive. It's got to be something that, you feel like that you can actually compete in. Like for me, I don't want to get in there. It's all about skill, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what Planetside 2 is about. That's why it feels good when you actually get in there and get some kills. And it's not about like the amount of time you spent in it or the amount of money you spent. Like Modern Warfare 3, I think nails that because you can get in there and sometimes you can get some kills, but you know the guys that are good, and you don't want to go up against those guys. And people who put in a lot of time and a lot of practice are really good. They're not just, out there, being scrubs forever. If you put in the time, you'll actually become a great player. And but like I said, it gets to a level where it's the same thing. You go through all the prestige and all this other stuff, but at the end of the day, it's the same thing. All I did was shoot a bunch of dudes. And I'm gonna do that tomorrow, and then I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna shoot a bunch of dudes. And you don't get that aspect. It's like you in the closet by yourself shooting a bunch of dudes, and even though you're surrounded by people, even though it's a team deathmatch mode, you're still surrounded by individuals. These guys aren't helping you do anything. You may have a group of friends that you run with in Modern Warfare 3 or Battlefield 3, but the reality of it is you're not really running with these guys. They're trying to get their score up. They're trying to do things to make them look better as an individual. In Planetside, it's all about the team. You can't really do much of anything by yourself. You can do things by yourself, but it's a lot easier to do them and a lot more fun to do them when you have a group of people doing it with you. That's what separates us from them, is that this game is about a community that continues to build upon itself. Like I can say, like I played with the rival guys today. Yeah, but I played with these guys, and these guys are, Battlefield 3 players, and they've been playing games and competitively at a level that's much greater than mine, obviously, because that's what they do. And, we put these guys in Planetside 2, and because they come from that background, they've got an advantage as far as like the Twitch aspect of it. But then, they're asking me like, what can I do with my vehicle? How many upgrades can I have? So they're looking beyond just me running around shooting guys in the face. They're looking at, well, what goals can I achieve with each one of these classes? And what can I unlock a week from now, a month from now? How good is my handling going to be on my mag rider a month from now? They're looking at the goals that they can achieve far beyond just shooting a dude in the face. And
what are they telling you about the first person, T-Ray? Are they enjoying the guns? I mean, these guys are pros. These guys, like you said, are they enjoying the gun? Or they feel like it's going to be to a point where we can actually do some competitive things in this game?
I've never really directly asked them that, but the complaints come from the bugs, not the weapons.
Sure.
So I can only, grab from that the guns feel good, but some of the buggy stuff, like when sometimes you set down a spawn beacon and it vanishes. It's just frustrating because it's in beta and we're fixing those things and we got a huge list of things that we need to fix. But they're not complaining about, oh man, this gun feels weak, or I don't like using this gun because it does no damage. They're not saying that, or I can't fire this thing because it fires too slow. But there are some guns in there that I personally complain about because I know they're not tuned.
Okay.
I picked up a gun on the scythe that was clearly broken, clearly not tuned at all, and I need to go talk to the guy tuning weapons to let him know that this gun is completely worthless.
Nice. I like that.
But that's the whole point. You get in there, you try things out. But like I was saying, those guys haven't complained about the Twitch aspect of it. They just want to know, like, where do I go from here? Because I think, that they've done the Battlefield 3 thing, and it's the same thing over and over again. But as the competition heats up, they want to know, like, how do they take their skills to another level? How do they unlock something that's not available to somebody else by playing or by being a good player? How do I become, make myself different than everybody else because I'm a great player. And they're looking forward to those things as they unlock.
Okay. Hey, you mentioned that site, T. Ray. Tell me, obviously, you're known as the king of Vanu. I mean, you've got over 10,000 followers on your Twitter account. People get excited anytime you're posting or talking. Going back to when you first got involved with this game, what drew you to the Vanu Empire? I mean, why are you the guy that we all look up to and say, that's our leader, he's the man? Why'd you come here?
Well, that was actually the first faction that I actually designed from the ground up. When I originally got on the Planetside team, there was Terran Republic and the new conglomerate in like a rough form.
Okay.
You know, they had like one or two suits, and it wasn't like they didn't have the whole, you know, the heavy assault, light assault standard. None of that stuff existed, and the Vanu sovereignty didn't exist at all.
Wow.
So that was the only faction that I actually had a hand in forming and creating, along with Kevin McCann, like basically narrowing down that vision, picking the colors, picking what they look like, working directly with the concept artist Nathan Campbell, and honing the way that they look. So for me, it's like the Vanu, I mean, they truly are my children.
Nice.
Because I created them from the ground up when they didn't exist, you know, when I got there. So, you know, I think I owe them my allegiance until I die, because that's where I put my heart and soul into them, and the others were just me doing my job to make them look just as good.
So, like for our outfit, when we decided to go Vanu, because we felt like they had the best looking tanks, they had the best looking suits, they had the best looking weapons. We have you personally, one and only, to thank for that. So, for all of us out there, thank you. You know, we're going to turn the world purple, but we're also going to look good doing it. So
exactly.
There you go.
And that's the whole thing. Like, people wonder why like their style is completely different, because it's a couple of things, and I explained this a couple of times in different interviews. You first and foremost, the reason why you identify certain shapes in the game is because they're so separate. You know, we're talking about squares, circles, and triangles. And if you look up in the sky, you know a scythe when you see it.
Yep.
You know a reaver when you see it. You know mosquito when you see it. And
well,
not because,
T-Ray, they should know that. I got quite a few guys here that trying to figure that out, but I'll deal with that later.
Like, well, even if you don't know the name of it, you know that it's not a vehicle that's yours.
Yeah, you're right.
Because of the shapes, not necessarily because of the color. And that shape language is all throughout each one of the factions, and we enforce that heavily because we want people to be able to identify with one of those shapes and then gravitate to one of the other factions.
All right. Well, you've done a great job. So, hey, let me get into a couple of off-topic questions here. These are a couple of questions we asked Perfect Storm, and I think that Byrne is, still corresponds with her quite often. And we promised her that we would ask you these same two questions because she had to answer them. So, here we go. So, if you were sent to a deserted island and could only take three things with you, what would they be?
Probably a thing of cinnamon. A pint of Ben and Jerry's.
There you go.
Americone Dream, of course. And let's see, a deserted island.
Nobody. You're by yourself.
I can't take a person with me.
Well, that's a good point. I don't know if you can refer to him as a thing, though. I guess you could.
Yeah, I guess you can't really take a person. Then it wouldn't be deserted now, would it? All right. So, third thing. Shit, I guess some Vaseline or something.
You're by yourself, Bubba. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I tell you what,
you got to do what you got to do, man. I'm by myself. I got no help.
I was about to say that I was going to come to your island because of the Ben and Jerry's and the cinnamon, but then you threw the Vaseline on the end, and I might just have to go to Perfect Storms.
No, yeah, I would choose hers over mine if I was you too.
No, she's got to.
All right.
So, hey, if you had a week off from work and could not use any technological devices, what would you do during that week?
That's easy.
iPhone. Well, yeah, tell me.
That's easy. I wouldn't do a damn thing. I wouldn't do a damn thing. It's like one of the things that I like to do is absolutely nothing.
Yeah, me and you
Sit
both.
around and either, I guess technology, you can't watch TV, but I'll go work out, go walk. I mean, sleep. Like, I don't even know what that is anymore.
I
I
bet.
woke up this morning after 5 hours of sleep. I was like, man, I feel like I didn't get any sleep at all. But yeah, I'd probably do as little as possible.
Not
Um,
not a bad week.
Nah, a lot of people like to be stimulated, but I'm stimulated all day long and I just want to do nothing sometimes. And my fiance gets pissed at me for that. But she has no idea. Like, my mind is always going. I'm always thinking about something that's work related or non-work related, but it's always going about something that some problem or some situation that I could actually make a difference in. Be it mentoring at the Art Institute, picking up interns, or changing things about the game, or listening to people over Mumble talk about the game, or even in the game and team speak, people complain about certain things, and how can I fix that? What I can do to change that? My mind is always going about the project because this is something that's important to not important just important to myself, but important to my team, important to everybody in the company. So, I if I stopped doing those things, if I stopped thinking about ways to improve the process or improve the way the game looks, then I feel like I'm not doing my job.
Well, yeah, I feel bad for your wife, but for us, for the guys like myself and everybody here listening, we thank you. So, hey, well, we've got one more kind of stock question, then we're going to kind of throw it out to the community. We've got I don't even know how many people in our team speak right now, and then a couple of hundred listening live. It looks like so. We got a lot of ears, and then we're going to take some questions from the community. But one last stock question here is, and it's kind of a two-part question, and I want to preface it with think about inspiration in how you design in that. But are there any TV shows, books, sports, comics, or movies that you can't do without? I mean, me personally, I'm a big HBO series fan.
Mhm.
Uh, but maybe you get inspiration from there. Maybe it's comic books that you get a lot of that from. Any of that?
Yeah, it's pretty much a little bit of everything in pop culture influence. It goes all the way back to, Transformers, G.I. Joe, even crappy ass GoBots, Transformers, Transformers, Robotech, Star Trek, Lost in Space. You name it, man. Anything sci-fi for sure. Battlestar
Nice.
Galactica, old and new, Fringe, X-Files. I could go on for days and days with that. Movies. Shows that I like Touch,
Yep.
Booth at the End. Um, Movies like Priest or Blade series, like all of these things, man. Most of them sci-fi or any kind of action movie. Terminator, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, all the aliens, Alien. I did not like Prometheus. That was
No, you didn't.
garbage, dude. I didn't, dude.
Really?
That
All right.
was
Okay.
that was a waste of my time. I was
All right.
not I was not impressed.
Now, were you a
But
fan of the Aliens series?
yeah, it was. But it kind of. I could go on days and days with this thing, but it. Okay, first and foremost, like, so you send the brightest minds of your time to this alien planet, right?
Yeah.
These are supposed to be the best and the brightest.
The T-rays of the world.
Well, yeah, no, people unlike myself.
All right.
So, like, the best and the brightest, you send them to this alien planet, and you're like, all right, well, we don't know what's on the planet at all. But we don't. No, don't take no guns, man. Don't take those guns. You don't want to. Like, why wouldn't you take guns?
I
Like,
don't
who
know.
the hell in their right mind? You gonna walk up on a foreign soil. You don't know what's going on. You have no idea what's out there, and you saying, first and foremost, don't take any weapons. And then these other two clowns. Oh yeah, I'm scared. I'm going back to the ship. Okay, They can see you on the video camera, but they can't guide you back to the ship. How the hell you get lost? How is it possible to get lost? Tell me that. It's impossible for you to. They got beacons on you. They got the whole place mapped out, and you got lost in it. Who the fuck was manning the cameras? Like, oh, dude, turn left. I made him get lost. Oh, no, turn right. Oh, no, look out for it. I mean, like, really? How does he not get back to the ship? Okay, here's another one. Oh, it's a pile of human remains sitting on this thing that wasn't there before. Oh, it looks like a crumpled up human body. I'm going to go kick it. Yeah.
I remember that scene.
Yeah, go kick that. Yeah, see how that works out for you. Like, come on, man. It was just so much dumb shit in that movie. It just made all these so-called bright and brilliant individuals look so stinking dumb. And then tell me why this. Tell me why this is. Why was the robot dude so shady? Why would you make a shady robot? Seriously?
Yeah, I don't know.
He was like totally self-serving, totally couldn't trust him. Like, come on, man. Who builds a robot that's shady? Like with some kind of personality that makes him shady. Like, okay.
He had no prime directives, that's for sure.
Yeah, none, zero. Like zero. You can just like, oh man, go kill that dude. Sure, why not? Like, yeah, it just didn't make any sense. It was a whole bunch of holes. Okay, so then at the end, you're running away from this this giant disc-like ship, and what do? You run in a straight line. Why would you run in a straight line? It's rolling toward you. You roll to the side. Like, come on, man. It's the simplest thing. So, okay, and then she runs to the side at the last thing, and it starts to tip over, and it doesn't make a dent in the ground, and it lands like 2 inches from her face. Possible? Impossible. Like, come on, man. I could go on for days about this, dude. That movie was garbage.
I agree.
All right, what else was what was the real question?
No, I like it. I like you going on those little tangents. I like it.
It was horrible, man. I mean, come on, man. So many holes in that movie.
I agree. Okay, I got a couple of questions here from Rhizoid. Now, I don't know if you know who Rhizoid is. He's a Toxin member, and I need to get you two guys together. He's a programmer, been sponsored by some hardware companies, and probably one of our best players here in Toxin. But he's got one here. He's and I want to know this, and I want to know this from day one. Is that your voice as the Vanu Commander voiceover?
No, it is not. No, it is not.
I lost that bet. We thought you did some voice emote or something. We're like, that's T-Ray. T-Ray's telling us to cap it. So
no, people ask me to do voice fonts for the game, and I'm like, man, I don't even like hearing my voice, so I doubt if I'll do that.
No, well, I lost that bet. So all right.
How much did you lose?
Oh, well, I think Rhizoid and I are going to meet up in Vegas, so I think we're going to settle up there. I think we're going to come out there for that SOE live, so we'll have a good time. So, hey, UT host, one of our better pilots, all the way back to the BF2 days, wants to know if the answer is yes, when are we going to see full joystick control?
I believe they're working on it right now.
Okay.
So probably I can't really tell you which patch, because obviously those priorities are set by somebody other than me on the programming side. So, but they are definitely working on it, and it'll be in there prior to launch. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, that's all we can ask for. So I got a question here from Inviso. We got quite a few different outfits here in our TeamSpeak channel. So if I mispronounce some of these guys' names, I apologize to them. But and this is a good segue. I mentioned Vegas. Do you got any specifics on the SOE live tournament? I mean, obviously you're going to be there. Something along the lines.
Yeah, we'll be there. We'll be there. We got the $10,000 challenge out there. I think it's like a first prize is like $5,000 or something like that, and then goes down from that. But if you get more specific details at the website, soe.com/SOE live, and it'll give you the full rundown with the legal speak and all that other stuff, just so you can get it, precise. I don't want to be paraphrasing or making assumptions at all. So visit the website, check it out, and it'll give you all the information you need.
All right. What's that website again, T-Ray?
It's soe.com/SOE live. And if you go to the Planetside 2 site, there is a banner right there on the front page. Just click on that, and it'll take it to you.
Right.
And give you all the details of the contest and all that stuff too.
Perfect. You guys listen and go check it out. Hope to see you guys there. I know T-Ray and myself will be there for sure. So
yeah, I'll be there.
I bet. Now we've got a lot of techies. We got obviously Burn does this for a living. We've got a lot of networking guys that during RL spend their times running. So I mean, this is. Do you run some massive servers to run this game? I mean, just what kind of hardware is on the end to support what you guys are doing? I mean, it's just to me, it's amazing. I don't know enough about it, but I mean, do you know anything about what y'all are doing on that end?
Yeah, I actually did an interview with the Intel guys while I was at PAX, and they actually, all of our stuff is Intel servers,
Okay.
and we got them all over the world. Now, as far as specifics and like, finer details, I couldn't speak to that, but I know that the amount of servers, because we've had EverQuest and EverQuest 2 and DCUO and Planetside and all these things, we can spin up servers at will. So it's not like we'll get to, day one, we'll unleash Planetside and then we'll run out of space or anything like that, or there'll be a queue for every server. We can spin up servers whenever we need to, because that's the type of setup that that Intel's actually created for us. So the server infrastructure is really tight. It's been that way for a long time.
Nice. That's good to hear. Got a question here from Future, actually kind of a two-part question, and I'm going to butcher one of these words in here already, but he asked, what are your thoughts on Bruce Dell's Unlimited Details graphic engine? Do you know anything about that?
Is that the one with when they zoom in on the the little grains of sand and all that other stuff? I think that's the one he's talking about.
Yeah, EUCLEDION.
Yeah. I think that's a group of people down in Australia, something like that. I saw the demo on YouTube, and I put it like this: if Carmack and Valve and Sweeney, guys from Epic, if those guys haven't figured it out, then it don't exist.
All right, well, fair enough.
That's pretty much straight up. And it's like, we've got a tech team that's at the forefront, and I put those guys, I put our group of guys up against the Epic guys any day, because we do something that they don't. And it's not because I don't think they have the ability to do it. I just think that they want to focus more on higher end, but we can get closer to that higher end and still serve 2,000 people on the map.
Yeah, it's impressive.
But that technology, there's a lot of people skeptical about it. I don't really know much about it. All I figure is like, you still got guys like, the guys at Crytek and the DICE guys making Frostbite. Frostbite 2 is an incredible engine. All of these companies with these awesome ass engines, and yet nobody's pursuing the stuff that these people are claiming that they can do.
Well, yeah, there's got to be a reason for that, like you said.
There's got to be a reason for it. So either it's bogus, or the guys in Australia are the smartest guys on the planet, apparently. So.
Well, if it's too good to be true, I guess. So we'll see what happens. It'll be exciting to look forward to that in the future. Or, I got a feeling that Planetside 2 is going to keep us occupied for a long time. Now, got this next question from R. Mike. It looks like I've got about 4 more here. I don't want to take up too much of your time.
You're done.
All right.
Just keep asking.
All right, I'll keep going then. All right, we got R. Mike here, and I'm gonna edit this a little bit because I don't want to get you in trouble with anybody on your end, and so I'm going to give you a chance to put your salesman hat on. What do you think about, and he uses the words complaints here, and I certainly wouldn't use that myself because I haven't really found anything I like to complain about in this game. It's just amazing to me. But he asked, what do you think about the complaints from the PS1 vets that say PS2 has lost the tactical side? I mean, how do we reach out to these guys and convince them, hey, this is a new game. It's a new day. We know it's not the exact game, but we hope that we're giving you a better game. How would you convince them of that?
It's truly a different game, and people still seem to forget that the game is still in beta.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of things that allow you to be more tactical that haven't made it into the game, like the mission system, command rank system, all of that stuff, outfit, abilities, all of these things that they're missing from a game that's had 9 to 10 years to bake,
Mm-hmm.
are coming. They're all in the process of coming. So I would say if they got complaints about it, yeah, that's fine. You can complain about an incomplete product. That's
Yeah.
that's fully you fully within your rights to do that. But wait until we launch and then give us the feedback about the feature set that we give you. If that's not good enough, then we'll continue to make it. And like you see, I mean, the original Planetside is 9 years in the making. Like I said,
Yep.
It's not going to be the end of the road. That's not going to be just it. We're not going to be like, oh yeah, we ship it. Everybody move on to something else. That's not how it's going to work. So when you're talking about all these things that you need as a commander or communication or just being able to coordinate with platoons and squads and outfits, all of that stuff is coming, and we haven't given up on it. We still got plenty of time, and we're still working on it. So just keep the feedback coming, and judge us when we're saying that it's done, not in midstream. So that's pretty much all I can say. I hope that they stick around. Had some people really vocal about their dislike in certain things, and like I said, it's not a 9-year-old game. It's not a game that was made 9 years ago. It was a game that's made for people who play shooters today. And if that's the type of game that you want to play, if you want to play Quake, then you'll play Quake. And we're not making Quake. We're not making anything. We're not making Unreal Tournament. We're not making those games that were made way back in the day. We're making a whole new game, a brand new game that's different and that's built for today's audience. And we hope that the Planetside 1 players enjoy what it is we're making. We're trying to put as much as we possibly can that actually works for Planetside 2 from the Planetside 1 game into Planetside 2. We're trying to get that in there. But that's 9 years worth of tooling and fixing and refining. We just got to be able to we got to be able to have the time to do the same thing with Planetside 2.
Okay. Well, I tell you, Ray, that's why I work for Sony and I don't, because you're a lot more politically correct than I am. So for all you guys listening right now live, for all you guys that are going to be listening, be patient. It's a beta.
Obviously, people have got to speak their mind, and in order for us to fix anything, people need to speak their mind. But I think I told I was on somebody's live stream the other day, and like I said, there's a way to go about it. Like I remember there's some guy on the Planetside Universe forums.
Good forums. Good forums, by the way.
Yeah, great forums. I love Hammer. He's done a great job. But it was a guy who was just coming out of pocket with some wacky, comments. And I was like, look, man, me and Matt and Smed and all these guys who actually post on the forums and read these forums, we're human beings first.
Yep.
So treat us like human beings with the respect that you give every human being on this planet. And you'll get a response that's befitting of another human being. Not you can go off on me and say all kind of wacky stuff to me and you expect me to somehow be cordial to you. It's not going to work. Like I said, I'm a human being just like anybody else. So you do that to somebody on the street and see how they react to you. Just because I work for Sony don't mean I can't tell you that you're being out of line and give you a piece of my mind too. So if you really want a real answer, ask me in a way that you would actually want somebody to ask you a question. It's pretty simple. It's just common courtesy. And I understand how people, they get up in arms and get, defensive and get offensive about things that they care about. And I like that. That's fine. Mm-hmm. There's a way to be passionate and to be respectful at the same time.
I agree. Hope all of our listeners are taking that to heart and help educating anybody else that they might have in their communities. So, hey, kind of a little segue into that. I got a question here for future again. Good question. Any ideas floating around about making command more easy? It can get hard to command a platoon when you have nowhere to hide on the front line. That's a question from future. So, any ideas about making command more easy?
Like I was saying a few minutes ago, we're definitely working on all the command structure, outfits, and all of that stuff. All that's coming in, as you can see, like over the last 3-4 weeks, you can tell that lower end machines are getting better as far as
Yep.
like performance. More certs are going in every week. We're letting new people in every week as far as like trying to test the server load. So we're testing all these fronts all at the same time, and at the same time improving the abilities and the things that you have in the game. So
Okay.
it's just over time we'll continue to release some of these things and get more of the command rank stuff built into the game and get it fleshed out, more certs, more items to unlock. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, good to hear. Hey, Center Case wants to know how many hours you actually get to spend playing this game that you're creating.
Oh well, as of late, because of the grudge match,
Yeah,
and then prior to that, actually, just because the game's fun,
it is.
I play about 3-4 hours a day. I just got done playing with the rival guys, like I was saying. I played with them for about 2 hours today.
Okay, nice.
But yeah, I play from work and I play from home.
Okay.
And it was-
What kind of rig you run at home? How big's your rig?
I'm just playing it off of Asus laptop.
Nice. All right. I hope that. Yeah.
It's a
Good
pretty
answer.
decent laptop, but it's I play it off that and I get pretty decent frame rate.
Wow.
And then of course I'm using my work machine at work, and I play with a bunch of guys. Got a bunch of guys from work play from home all the time. I know
I
Smed.
bet.
Smed is in the game all the time, like all the time. He's Planetside 2 has actually replaced BF3 for him.
Good.
So
Good.
it's it's a great game, and then you got something special when you got you don't want to stop playing. When you actually much rather be playing the game than be working on it. Then
Oh man, tell you
that
right.
yeah.
That's exactly right. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, going back to BF2, which just my last game that I just felt like I'd wake up in the morning going, God, I wish I could not go to work and play this game. And the aspects of that game that appealed to me was that I could log on at any point during the day, no matter what kind of mood I was in. I could sit on a turret all day. I could go heal somebody. I could drive a tank. I could snipe. I could be an engineer. I could do all these different things. And so, like you alluded to earlier, I'm not just spawning in. I know the 3 flags I got camp, and I'm going to run down this alleyway, and I know at the end of the alleyway I'm going to have to kill 5 people to go cap that flag. And when the game's over, I just start it up and do the exact same thing again. That, in the short term, appealed to me, but I miss being able to do all the different things that you guys are allowing us to do. So I'm excited about that.
And it's good. It's good.
that's
I
it.
mean, we're going to continue to add more stuff and learn from what people are doing, because I mean, one of the biggest things about this is that we're going to put stuff in the game and we're going to think that everybody's going to use it the way that we think they use it. And then once we start, as we play the game, we'll see how people are actually using the things that we've given them. And just listen to people talk about it over TeamSpeak and over the comms. It's just like you hear people complaining, or you hear people giving out orders, or just playing the game during the course of playing the game. You hear all these things, and you're like, wow, that's how people actually use that thing. And we actually intended them to do this other thing.
Yeah.
And it's very educational, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Well, I'm gonna have to duck on this one because I'm gonna get flamed on the forum as soon as people hear that. But as far as things that were intended to be used, I gotta admit, me and about 20 of us are rolling around in about 5 Sundays the other night with the bugged mortar on the back.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that kind of
it's a
slipped through the
beta.
crack.
Yeah, it's a beta. People need to lighten up a little bit on that stuff. But we had a good time. So
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. I mean, we just make sure that we give you the tools, and you guys can abuse them however you want to abuse them.
There you go. Hey, Mickey Two Guns wants to know, and I think you answered this question earlier. His specific question: will SOE continue to support the PS2 competitive scene after the game?
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of plans. Smith, he's got his 3-year plan as far as like what he wants to do with the game and where he wants to take it. And competitive sports, esports is on that list of things to do. Expanding into different different continents and making more content that way, and also Getting destructible environment stuff is something that's on his list.
Wow.
Things to do. Doing some outer space stuff, maybe, possibly.
Woo! You just said that live now.
Yeah, I mean that's all it's all part of the plan, but I mean obviously plans change, and like people talk about, well, what about outfit owned bases and stuff like that, and that sounds like a great idea on paper, but once you put that in practice, it's like, okay, yeah, now you own this base, now what?
Yep.
You got to take care of the base. Who's going to stay around? Who's going to stick around the base all day and make sure nobody destroys stuff? Like, so it all breaks down once you start to really kind of consider what those implications are. Like, okay, yeah, I own this base. I mean, yeah, I got this base. All right, now what? You want to build it up, right? You want to keep it. You want to keep it, all your stuff working. Like, now what? Now, it basically, if you have a bunch of people that own these bases, they don't go anywhere. They just camp at the base because they don't want the base destroyed.
No, you're right.
So,
and you hit the nail on the head. I tell you what, I've got a couple of guys here whispering me in TeamSpeak that'll be the first that I'll nominate for base guard if they keep up with some of these whispers. So you're absolutely right. I mean, you guys you've got the macro view of this game for now and in the future, and as the everyday player, they're just looking at the micro level, and I hope people can understand that you guys you've got a plan. It might not be implemented as fast as the community wants it to be, but I think they need to take some comfort in that, you guys have got a direction that I think is going to be very successful this game. So I think we're kind of winding down here a little bit, T-Ray. but I do want to kind of finish it off with the night in that you think any point down the road, could you envision calling mini games? People are going to get mad at me for calling them that, but do you see any sort of scenario where 12-man, 6-man, 24-man, whatever it is, will have the ability to go in and do those types of games within the game? I mean, could you see a scenario where that would play out?
I don't know. I don't think we'll go that small as far as like squad on squad. The reason why we did squad on squad is because it's easier to recruit.
Sure. Yeah.
And if I had to recruit 100 dudes, that I'd be it'd be forever. It was just easier for us to get 11 guys and then him to get 11 guys real quick and then go at it, and that was the plan. But if we did it as more like instance combat, if we did it, it would be in the vein of Planetside, and it would be massive. It'd be like 120 versus 120 versus 120. We've talked about certain things like one outfit can challenge another outfit. You take your top 100 guys, or get 100 guys, and those the group gets 100 guys, and you go off and do something. But this was kind of like a test bed for a couple of things. It was a test bed to see if that type of thing would work, and it's also just to give people a quick look at Esamir so that they can see what's coming. I picked up some other guys that I've seen on that I've seen on the YouTube. So they've YouTubed their streams, or I've seen on Twitch. Like this guy Sujin, all he does is play games for you. I talked to him today. He's like, yeah, I game about 22 hours a day. And I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? Whoa. How do you play games about 22 hours a day? So he's like, yeah, that's what I do. And I saw him, he was streaming Planetside for like 6 hours. Like yesterday, he was playing from like 11 to 5. I was like, that's crazy. And the guy is great. So I saw his stream. I don't even know how I got to his link, but I saw his stream. I was like, oh, I got to have this guy on my team. And then, he just plays with himself. And he's not actually affiliated with the outfit or anything.
I just got blasted by my moderators in TeamSpeak. Got a lot of people that want to know, is that the best way to get noticed? I mean, I noticed your Planetside forum post. I followed it on there, and I think you had more people throwing up names than you could ever possibly recruit. But is that the best way to get in front of you guys? I know we've got a lot of people right now. Literally, I've just got about 40 messages from different people, and my moderators are hammering me.
Make a video. See, this is what happens. Every day, pretty much every day, the guys at work are trolling YouTube, trolling the internet, looking for Planetside 2 videos.
Okay.
And when they find them, they find a really good one, they send it out to the whole team. Like everybody sees it. SMED sees it, marketing sees it, everybody sees it. And that's how we picked the ones for the command center. And, because we were doing this grudge match, that's how I picked the guys on my team. I can't speak for Higby. I don't know how he picked his. I know he picked like 3 guys from the dev team, so that's 3 slots right there. And then I know he picked some guys from the forums. And then he picked up 3 guys from the rival team. And the guys we knew them because they made videos.
Mm-hmm.
So, we saw that rival X Factor was doing videos for Planetside 2. And, that's how we hooked up with them. So it's all about posting stuff, posting your stats. That's how we see these things. But we keep an eye out all the time. All the time. We are looking constantly for, new videos and new streams, people playing the game, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's a good way to get noticed. It is.
I like it. All you guys listening live, you heard it here. ToxinRaiders.com. If you want to get noticed, want to get your name out there, want to be a part of these things in the future.
Yeah, and even if you're not doing streams and stuff like that, like guys like we featured Shit Pete on our command center, and it's because he makes like cartoons and little animated videos, and it's cool, really great stuff. So I mean, we love that. I mean, it's basically for the community, and it's spreading the word of what Planetside is and getting people introduced to it. We know that Planetside can be really deep, and as far as like, hard to get into, like we got to make sure that the first 15 minutes is really solid and get people into the game and so that they can feel like they're part of a community right off the bat. But those instructional videos that people make, comparative videos. Like I saw a video today, I forget who made it. I think it was one of the guys from Azure Twilight. Made like a comparative video between all the tanks. Like, here's the bullet drop on the Mag Rider, here's the bullet drop on the Vanguard and the Prowler, blah, blah, blah.
Nice.
And, so guys are like doing these things and they're doing the types of stuff that would, they're actually selling the game to people who don't know what it is. And we love that. It's great.
All right, T-Ray. Hey, guys, I've been joined tonight with T-Ray, Senior Art Director, Sony Online. Hey, appreciate your time. Sorry for the technical difficulties earlier, but, look forward to everything you guys have got planned in the future, and just going to enjoy being a part of it. So, T-Ray, again, thank you for everything. Hope to see you in Vegas.
No, man, thank you. I really appreciate it. Anytime. Definitely want to make sure that we hook up in Vegas, and if anybody else wants to come on out, SOE Live, Vegas, October 18th through the 21st. We're going to have that the Planetside tournament. We got some panels, people asking questions live, whatever. I think we're probably going to do a Planetside Command Center at live at the Bally's area. So, come on out, get on the show, see what, come meet me and Matt, hang out, have some fun.
There it is, Bally's, Las Vegas, Sony Live. Going to enjoy seeing you there. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, T-Ray.
All right, take it easy.
That's it for this episode of the Toxin Audio News. Stay tuned for our next episode, and remember, what happens in the Toxin Tower stays in the Toxin Tower.